just heard this for the first time a few minutes ago, but huddled in the back to try to analyze these numbers very quickly. So I just wanted to leave you with one number, if you don't pull any other number out of my comments or this press conference, and that is $117 million. That is the amount of new money that's going into our state trunk highway system. That's it, $117 million. This $3.6 billion over 10 years is largely a fiction, and it's largely dollars that are either already existing and allocated or being appropriated on a one-time basis or simply borrowing. I'll walk you through the numbers very quickly here. So we see that the Senate Republican plan calls for $400 million from auto-related sales taxes. So those are dollars that flow currently into the general fund, dollars that we currently use for education, for health care, for property tax relief, for public safety, for any number of uses that we use the general fund for. And so I will concede as new money to transportation, yes. It's certainly not new money to the state of Minnesota. These are dollars that we use to educate our kids, to fund our college system, et cetera. The $117 million from MnDOT flex spending, that's existing money in the trunk highway fund. And those are dollars that right now flow to local units of government for the purpose of county turnbacks. I don't want to get too far into the weeds, but the short version is these are dollars that we use to support local road funding purposes. $53 million in savings from MnDOT efficiencies. Well, MnDOT is already documenting $70 million per biennium in efficiencies, and they're reallocating those dollars to roadway purposes. So you need to take $117 million and $53 million out. $466 million in federal grants. I can't, for the life of me, figure out why they count that as new money. Those are federal dollars flowing through the FAST Act, and these are dollars that are already accounted for in the budget, the governor's budget. These certainly aren't any dollars that the Republicans can lay any claim to. Those are existing dollars in the budget that come from the federal government. $300 million in trunk highway bonds. Again, they're adding this as over and above the dollars in the trunk highway tax distribution fund. That's just borrowing. That's just borrowing against those existing resources. So if you take $400 million and take 95% of that, and then take 29.9, 62% that goes to the trunk highway fund system, 29% that goes to the county state aid highway system, and the 9% that goes to municipal state aid system. The math that, I didn't actually do the math, I'm relying on someone else's math. That's $117 million per year that goes into the state highway system. A far cry from the minimum $250 million we need per year just to maintain what we have. This bill moves us backwards as a state, I'm sad to say. This is wholly inadequate.